Kick 1 2 1 2.
Hello guys, welcome to my channel Ask Adri, where you can ask anything, whether if it's love, life, relationships, money, business, motherhood. Well, let's get into it. This video is about my labor and delivery story. It is 10 months past due and I cannot believe that much time has went by, but with COVID, just big adjustments, I just have not been able to have a really good sit down to be able to share the story with you, and I'm just so excited because I mean, it is a crazy story about how all of these things unfolded, and I cannot wait to share with you. We don't do super long intros over here, so let's get into the details. Okay, first things first. Everything was like an emergency from like my first trimester because I had no idea what the plan was going to be because it was not planned, was not expected. It was just kind of like, here we go. I had morning sickness really bad, which is in my previous video about how I just was throwing up for pretty much ever. My vomiting symptoms, I started swelling, and I'm like, hold on, I know you should swell, but this is entirely too much swelling. I didn't feel comfortable with it. And then I had sciatica, which I've experienced in the past, but it was really bad. So you'll be surprised of what actually led me to the hospital. I said hospital. That's how serious it got. So when I went to urgent care, because I thought the swelling is abnormal, but I thought I had an ear infection. So that's what made me really go, because, it was like flu season, okay? So why the nurse practitioner leans me over, he's like, you don't have an ear infection, but you have cotton stuck in your ear from a Q-tip. Okay, you know how silly that sounds? Anyways, he says, well, let me test your urine while you're here for the swelling. Okay, you test my urine. There is proteins in my urine. He says, well, that's a sign for preeclampsia. Okay, I've heard of that, but, do I just go on bed rest? No, you're getting admitted to the hospital. I'm like, what? So thank God I went for what I thought was an ear infection and saved my life, because I called my doctor, and my doctor says, you can wait until your appointment. If I would have waited 2 days, to continue that portion, my doctor did tell me to wait a couple days until my appointment came up. Any symptom, especially when it comes to being pregnant, can become exaggerated overnight. So if you ever feel uncomfortable or that something is wrong, go get checked out, because every moment, every day is precious to keeping your baby healthy and keeping you healthy, because you would never want to regret not listening to your body or yourself. Again, this video was too golden to refilm, so I'll just again add another voiceover. The lab results showed the protein. That is what ends up showing if you have preeclampsia or eclampsia, which leads me to my stay at the hospital that he makes me go to. He's like, you're gonna have this baby on Saturday. So I just lose it. I start crying because, mind you, I'm only in my second trimester, so I'm about 24, going on 25 weeks. So I'm like, I don't know what you mean. I can't have a baby on Saturday. So they end up putting me on IVs, and they end up telling me that we don't care for babies that are under 34 weeks because we just don't have the capabilities of doing that, so we'll have to transfer you to another hospital. That hospital was actually a very reputable hospital. I get there, and then I'm thinking, okay, the worst, that we're gonna have a baby in 5 days, okay? No, I'm in so much pain, like, just terrible. My back hurts so bad. After a couple weeks of fast forward, I end up staying there for 2 more weeks, and then that is when I delivered. So let's go back. I ended up having some friends come and visit me. Shout out and thank God for my friends, and you know who you are, who came to bring me food, and my cousin, who just phenomenally helped take care of my mother and me while I was there, because I just didn't understand. So you probably are asking, where was the father of my child? So
he was in the military.
About the baby. They really didn't say he had any signs of distress. He was doing really well. They ended up monitoring him like every night, and he did really good. They really didn't have any concerns. Besides, he just was really underweight and just wasn't prepared to come. So to describe this day, it was a combination of like throwing up and them controlling my blood pressure as long as they could. I was having these splitting, piercing headaches that just would not go away. So they had to give me like cocktails of drugs to kind of just soothe me so I could sleep. And I just remember asking God, like, okay, like I know this is what you want me to do because this is like an assignment for me.
But can you hurry up?
Okay, like speed it up. I need to have this baby now. Like at some point I'm like, look, I can't take it anymore. And then they ended up really coming. Okay, I think I breezed through what preeclampsia was because I can be very long-winded, and I just kind of wanted to get to the point and kind of tell you what that experience looked like for me, because it varies from woman to woman. But the point of it is your blood pressure is affected, but how that starts, they really don't know what triggers it. It could be genetics, hypertension if you have it. I did not have hypertension. I had perfect blood pressure throughout my entire pregnancy, but genetically I am predisposed to having these complications in pregnancy. And some people don't have it in their genetics and they don't know what triggers it. It could be stress, they don't know. So I would say to prevent this, if you're scared of it, there's no real science for it, but just really take it easy. And if you are stressed, communicate that and work through that as best as you can. And yes, my first trimester and second trimester were one of probably the most stressful points in my life. So if I have to tell you anything, trust your own body, trust your mind, trust yourself, because people will tell you you are wrong. And even if they think you're crazy, you could be saving your life, especially Black women. Preeclampsia is more in the African American community. So I know they may not listen to you. I'm sorry about that, but somebody will, and don't be fearful about your pregnancy, okay? Trust God, trust yourself, okay? So my C-section was great, besides the fact that I could hear them talking about what they were doing, and that caused me to vomit on the table almost the entire time. My mom had to help me get through that part. But last but not least, Elijah was born at 2 pounds 5 ounces on March 10th at 10:13 a.m. And it was a surreal moment. I really can't explain exactly how it felt. I just felt very, very strong and confident that I could do anything. You know, you really just feel like this invincible feeling, like God can really take me from one place to the next place, and I can have faith to do anything. And after that, I really have faith to do whatever, which I should have had it before, but I don't know. Something about getting through that showed me he is always with me. Sorry, I'm also talking low because Elijah is asleep, and I don't get that many times to have him sleep so I can do these videos. So yes, that is why I'm almost whispering, because I do not want to wake him up. Anyways, I can give you more details about the C-section recovery and things of that nature. Again, if you hear of anything that you are interested in the story that you'd like more details about, comment below. I can make another video about them, or I can just answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching this video, for liking, subscribing, and staying along with me as I went in circles and circles and circles about this, because it honestly was so much to cover being on bed rest, and I should have documented all of those days because it felt like 50. But what was 50 was our NICU stay, and I will cover that later if you would like. Please comment below. Thank you.
Check 1 2 1 2.